Okay. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going live again with another stream. We're going to be building our mission control today. Let me just make sure we're properly live and actually have sound, because I've made the mistake too many times in the past where I go live and there's no sound. Let me just make sure we're properly. Fantastic, we got sound. All right. Just gonna double, triple check, make sure we're running on all platforms here, and we'll go from there. Just give me 1 sec. I need to find like is there like a way to streamline this? Like I feel like every time I set this stuff up, I have to like go to YouTube and then go to Twitter and just see if it's all doing what it's supposed to be doing, and half the time it's not doing it. So, okay. All right. Looks like we're good on Twitter. We're good on YouTube. And let's see if we're good on Kick. Should be.
Yep.
Okay. Sick. Amazing. We are good on all platforms. So I'm going to get started off right away. We'll dive right in without hesitating. If you guys are new to the show, you guys are new to the daily series, what it is that we're doing here is we are taking an agent with OpenClaw and getting it to 100K a month in revenue. And the overall objective is to create an autonomous company where essentially I deploy a handful of agents. They go out and they do research, they find new business ideas, and then they validate them. They put out a bunch of different landing pages, marketing pages, so on and so forth, and test them to see whether or not that there's any interest in the market, anyone that wants to buy what we're making. If there's some initial pull, then we're going to then double, triple down on it. We're going to build a full-on product, whether that's an info product, an e-commerce store, a SaaS product, micro SaaS product, whatever it is, we're going to double and triple down on. And the end result is to have a system where from start to finish, AIs can find, iterate, build, launch, and scale different projects. We could be running 10, 15, 20, 30 different companies all at the same time. So as soon as we get the systems down, as soon as we get the mission control down, all this other good stuff, in theory, one agent should be able to do research, come up with an idea, and then start delegating tasks to the other agents. And we should be able to run lots and lots of these all at the same time and just get a daily check-in with the output that each of the agents have created, check in on them, rinse and repeat, give them feedback, and continue to help build their skills until they're good enough to do everything. So that's really in a nutshell as to what it is that we're doing. And the kind of angle that we're taking to today is we're going to build out this agent dashboard. Now, you'll see here on the screen, let me move this over to the side. Move this other mouse and keyboard over. I've got two mouses and keyboards, two mice and two keyboards. So you'll see here that this agent dashboard right now kind of just like looks like a normal Kanban board. You have some like blank activity feed, and we can kind of tap into a bunch of different chats with our agents and kind of tell it to do stuff. So that's what we have right now. And the last few days I've been kind of contemplating how exactly do we want to do this, right? Because I've been seeing more and more stuff that you don't want to corrupt or you don't want to overflow these memory files. Because if you think about it, right, when you're building context or you're building some form of memory system, if the context window is too large and you just have this overwhelming amount of data sitting there, the agent is going to have a bias towards the information at the top and at the end of the context window. Everything that kind of sits in between suffers a little bit. And so what it is that we really want to do is we want to focus on how can we offload the data to a place where, especially with the tasks where maybe it's not an MD file, maybe we structure it in code or we structure it in some form of dashboard that our agents then can go and reference in tandem with their skills and the other things that they've learned over time. And so that's really what it is that we're going to do. So I initially set up some memory files. I initially set up some things on how they can manage their tasks. And I've started to move it to this product here, which I'm calling Agent Dashboard. And the objective for today is to really orchestrate all of these different agents to have all the baseline MD files that they need, a good agents MD file, a good Sol MD file, so on and so forth, where when they come in, they go through the very simple workflow of checking their agents file, their Sol file, their heartbeat, and then going in to the Kanban board that we have and seeing what they have to do, and then immediately starting to execute on the tasks. Now, to give you guys a bit of a mental picture as to how I see the delegation system working, is we have a base agent called the strategist, our guy over here called Eagle. Eagle is kind of like the CEO. So, sets the pace, sets the vision, sets the direction, and then tells Owl, the builder, Phoenix, the operator, Dove, the marketer, to do certain things for all of the experiments that it's going to run. Now, it will create a brief. So the brief is the overall high-level objective of what the experiment is. Like, say, launch an e-commerce store, and it's going to be around this particular product, doing this particular thing, so on and so forth. It will then give out an objective, which is something that's more specific, but still a bit generic. Like, let's just say in 1 week, we need to get, call it 10,000 views on TikTok. And we're going to give that to the marketer, and the goal is to get 2 to 5 to 10 different sales in the span of that 1 week. Now, the marketer would then take that information and make a decision as to how it's going to do that, right? We don't want the Eagle to micromanage the marketer in the sense of telling the marketer how to do its job, because the marketer is developing its own skills, developing its own habits, developing its own intuitions as to how to make TikToks. And so the actual implementation of hitting that weekly objective will be up to the marketer and everything that it's learned over the span of the weeks, months, etc., that it's been building up. In this case right now, we have no skills, we have nothing built up. Right now, we're really just building out the facilitation layer to make all of this happen. Now, now that you have an idea as to how the flow of this is going to go, we need to get into the Kanban board here, and we need to start making all of the necessary connections for this thing to start going. And before I begin, I'm gonna just post this out to Twitter, because I know it works pretty well in notifying people that I'm doing this. So 1 second, let me just post this really quick. Okay. All right, great. So I think we have that properly set up and configured. Now we can get ripping here. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get into managing our agents. So I've been using Claude Code, or honestly, I've been using Cursor directly for some of this agent building. Right now, unfortunately, I'm kind of subscribed to Cursor, Claude Code, and Codex. And so, it's a lot, but frankly, I kind of need all of them right now. That I find all of them are kind of useful, and they're kind of, Codex is starting to become good at some things, Claude is becoming good at some things, and Cursor is becoming good at some things. And so I'm developing my own intuitions as to which ones that I want to use. In this case, for what it is that we're doing here in the dashboard, we're going to start off using Cursor. Now let me just move this thing over into agent mode. Whoops. Why the hell is this opened? Close saved, closed saved. And we're going to do closed saved here too. Do not need that to take up so much space. Okay. So, what the hell? All right, let's see where we're at in the progress of the Kanban board. So right now we have the EXP001, which is our baseline Kanban board. This is going to be the war room as to all the things that I do to delegate to my agents outside of all the initial experiments. So if I pull up my file folders here and go to OpenClaw, you can see the kind of like baseline systems that I have for each of my agents. So I have the agents file, the MD file, the identity file, memory, so on and so forth. Now, inside of my agents dashboard, yeah, this is where I'm going to be doing all of the delegating. So let's get a pulse as to where this is at. Let me just get my bearings here. All right. Okay. Great. So I want you to help me understand exactly the state of our, actually we'll ask that in the agent. We're going to clear the context window here as well too. Clear the context window, just so that way we get a fresh session in making this happen. Okay, I want you to tell me the state of our agent dashboard and how all of our agents are working together. Again, my end goal is to turn this into the mission control where our 4 agents autonomously start new experiments, delegate briefs, delegate objectives, and the agents start to figure out how to achieve the goal of an objective by setting themselves tasks in the Kanban board, ultimately iterating on the objective by refining its skills file. All right, we'll get a high-level overview as to where we're at with all of this. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. How you guys doing? Any of you guys in the chat? Feel free to drop a message. We'd love to see who's tuning in tonight. Perfect. All right, here's the honest state of everything. Not pretty, but you need the full picture. It's not pretty. You need the full picture. That's a great way to start. Great way to start. All right. And also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have my Claude Code subscription now officially hooked up, so I'm no longer using any API credits to do this. Definitely fucking do it. You're not getting banned. Okay. So the current state of the agent dashboard. Components built, chat, Kanban, okay. Speech mode, yeah. Critical bug is still unfixed. The live activity summary creates a recursive loop. It sends a summarize this request. Eagle says no reply. That triggers another request. Infinite loop, burn 40 plus minutes of Opus tokens. This is priority 0. It blocks me from doing anything when it fires. Okay, so yeah, essentially what that translates to is this thing is not summarizing well, but I'm pretty sure I actually fixed that and got it to a good state yesterday in Cursor. So, it summarized it really well here. Like, this is what it is that we're working on, right? A new task was started via new reset. The user configured a persona. One is provided. Yeah. So actually, this is broken. That is not a good summary of what that is. So the objective kind of here with this live activity is if I come back into the Kanban board at any given time, I should be able to see what my agents are doing very quickly. A quick summarization of exactly what they're doing, even if that agent is in progress. I need to know what's going on at all times. And so for some reason, I'm getting some, I guess, not great summaries or understandings as to what's going on in my live activity. You can see that this guy right here cuts off at the bottom, and then like we're using Markdown. I don't know why we're using Markdown here, but the summary isn't good. It's also taking up way more attention. It's not taking up enough attention relative to what the task is. So this screen we're definitely gonna need to have to work on. The next thing is, okay, so we have the Atlas CLI, builds and compiles, SQLite database exists with tables of experiments, briefs, objectives, tasks, audit log. Experiment 1 worm is the only experiment, it's active, but the DB is basically empty, 0 briefs, 0 objectives, 0 tasks in the SQLite. The brief objective data only lives in Markdown files, not in the DB. Agent sessions, okay, so that's fine. Experiment state, it tests if solopreneurs will pay $29 a month for AI generated SEO content. 1 objective defined, landing page live, objective status in progress, skills folder empty, just a README. Actually, I don't even know where this is coming from because we don't have anything set up for this yet, like at all. So I think this is probably coming from my old README files, which we need to delete. Yeah, it is. It is. It's an example one. The gap between where we are and where you want to be. Your vision is agents autonomously discover opportunities, create experiments, write briefs, define objectives, set their own tasks, execute, iterate, refine skills. What's actually missing? The recursive loop bug. Literally nothing works while this fires. P0. I'll need to fix this before anything else. Agents are self-starting. Right now they sit idle until I explicitly message them via session send. There's no heartbeat or cron triggering them to check for the work, pick up objectives, or create tasks. They're passive. The Kanban, DB, and the Markdown files are disconnected. The brief and objectives exist as Markdown files and memory/experiments. The brief objectives exist as Markdown files and memory/experiments, but the SQLite DB with the dashboard reads has 0 briefs and objectives. Nobody ever populated the database. That's fine, we haven't done that yet. No agent to Kanban integration. Agents can't create their own tasks yet because they don't have the Atlas CLI in their toolchain, and there's no workflow where they read an objective and translate it. No skills accumulation, no autonomous experiment discovery. What I'd prioritize, of course, is fix the summarization loop, get agents self-activating. This is perfect. This is exactly why I did this. I needed to know exactly where we are to get to that end state. And frankly, technology works. Technology works. So what we're actually going to do first, before we go any further into Eagle, is we're going to fix the live activity bug. So this thing is not good. So I'm going to say, I want you to help me understand how the live activity section works on the board page. Because right now, have a handful of issues. 1, the summary, if it's longer than 2 sentences, cuts off the screen. 2, the summary isn't always good or really based on what the agent actually is doing / did. It's like summarizing tool calls, whatnot. 3, the summary is using Markdown. Like, why the fuck are you using Markdown when it should just be baseline text? Help me understand how it's working. Don't fix any of it. we really need to know why it's doing this, because I spent a lot of time last night or the day before trying to understand how this loop continues to happen over and over and over and over again. And unfortunately, we just never get anywhere with it, and it's really fucking annoying. So, however we're listening to the gateway or however we're summarizing prompts is just frankly not cutting it right now. So, we're gonna see if we can identify why exactly it's doing that. And then we'll go back to Eagle while we're waiting on that, and we'll see. So the fix the summarization loop, get agents self-activating, heartbeat crons that trigger each agent to check for pending work. Yep, sync the Kanban, give agents the Atlas CLI. Okay. Okay. Let's see what this guy is saying. So the relevant files, data flow, where agent run comes from. The board activity sidebar receives agent runs as a prop from page TSX. The runs are built up in real time from WebSocket events. Agent events with stream equals lifecycle and face equals start. The new agent run entry reactivates within 30 seconds. Agent events with stream equals tool. Each tool start ends with a human readable description. Okay, chat event state final, summary generation, two-phase pipeline. When a run finishes, there's a two-phase summary approach. Immediate fallback to generate work summary. This runs synchronously and sets a summary right away. If it tries two things in order, extracts summary from responses, takes the raw agent response text, splits on text on sentence boundaries, and looks for the first sentence. Okay. Async summary after. Okay. Display where the three issues come from. Summary is cut off. Summary isn't meaningful. Summary quality depends on which of the three paths that produced it. Extract summary from response. Does native regex the AI? Okay. So extract summary from response. Does native regex sentence extraction from the agent's response? It's just grabbing the first sentence that it has a word like updated or created. If the agent's response starts with something like I've updated configuration, it'll grab it verbatim, which may or may not reflect what actually mattered. Okay, we need to kill that shit. Okay, definitely kill this. You should never use it. Action log fallback, it just counts tool calls. Okay. Remove the action log fallback. AI summarizer, it receives the last 20 described tool call strings, things like reading, file, edit, plus the first 600 characters of the agent response. The prompt tells it to describe what was accomplished, but the input is tool call level detail, so the AI often just paraphrases the tool calls rather than describing the meaningful outcome. Your issue, summary contains markdown. The AI summarizer prompt says reply with only summary sentence, no quotes, prefix, but doesn't say no markdown. The LLM behind summarizer can return markdown. Okay, yeah, let's fix all of that shit. Okay, so definitely kill this. We should never use it. Remove this. And honestly, and the AI summarizer also sucks as an exclusive data source. The summarization we want to see tool calls while the actual agent is still running. When it's complete, the summary needs to summarize a few things. the input prompt, either from Thomas, Eagle, or the agent itself, saying what the task is, the task information, if present, the summarization of the files changed and what. Okay, no. Well, it's not necessary. You can't just summarize the files changed because it has to work for all agents, and not all agents are writing code, right? So some agents could be making a video and posting a video. Summarization of the actual, I don't even want to say events because I don't want to say like tool calls. Summarization of what the agent actually did. Like edited file X. And fixed Y bug to do Z thing. Or if you have a better way of doing this, suggest it. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Like, we have to have some way of knowing what it's doing. We definitely have to have some way of knowing what it's doing. Like right now, I'm listening to tool call events and stuff from the gateway, but at the end of the day, we know what it's doing from the response, the response that the AI gives. Like once it does everything, it says, yeah, I did this, and that. I wonder if there's a way to prompt that or some way to summarize it all, but I guess we're just gonna have to find out exactly what the agent dashboard here thinks. For the completed run summary, the AI summarizer concept isn't bad. It's just getting poor inputs and a weak prompt. I suggest keeping it, but significantly improving it. Feed it the full task prompt, agent's complete response text, and structured action log files. Give it strict prompt. Okay. Okay. Keep the AI summarizer, but fix its inputs, prompt, and plain text. Ditch the summarizer. Extract / clean from agent's own response. Try agent response first. Fall back to summarizer if it's not descriptive enough. Just important inputs. I propose keeping it, but significantly improving it. Okay, we'll just follow what it suggests. Should the task / prompt, what was asked, be shown as a separate visible line on the run card in the sidebar, or just baked into the summary text? Was asked to be shown as a separate visible line on the run card in the sidebar, or just baked into the summary. Just let the summary reference was asked naturally. Keep it in the pop-up. All right. Hopefully that puts us at a good start. That should definitely put us at a good start. Okay. How we doing, chat? Any of you all watching right now? Put a message in the chat. Would love to see some of you guys. Let's see if you guys are also trying to get this set up and working yourselves. All right, let's build it. Alrighty. And also, as another point here, I'm going to start doing these streams a bit earlier. Just today, I had a lot of issues connecting to my MacBook Mini from my computer here. Alrighty, let's see if we got this going. See if we can get this one-shotted. Interestingly, though, for those of you that are here, I guess while we wait, I want to show you guys this interesting company. Kind of very similar to what it is that we're trying to do here, I guess, with OpenClaw. This company called Pulsia.com. It's an AI that runs your company while you sleep. Pulsia thinks, builds, and markets your projects autonomously. It plans, codes, and promotes your idea continuously, operating 24/7, adapting to data, improving itself without human intervention. So I'm pretty sure he has his own companies built and deployed. And you can see that right now his agent is basically running and iterating on a handful of companies. So like it's starting lots of new companies every few minutes. And I don't know if they're marketing it or I don't know what's going on, but they're all using the, Pulsia.app domain. And, you can literally see made 6 minutes ago, 11 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, 17 minutes ago. 398 companies launched in the past 24 hours. It's really funny. And you can see that, it's running its own. I don't know why this live chat's here blocking it off, but you could see that it's, doing its own kind of like ad campaigns, trying different creatives, seeing what's working, what's not, sending out emails, running Twitter accounts, and you can see the prompts that it's hitting in live time. This is kind of very similar to what it is that I would like to do. Perhaps way less experiments and more focus and compute on a few experiments rather than running many. But I think this is actually a really cool example of what an autonomous organization could look like. So if you guys are interested in this type of stuff, definitely check this one out. Looks really, really interesting. Pulsia.com. Interestingly, too, for those of you that are in the chat, I actually got myself a 5-letter domain recently. It's called Zloke. I made this privacy AI chatbot. Is it not loading? What the fuck? I guess, Supabase did shut down my shit. It could be trying to load Supabase right now and it's not going to work. Well, anyway, I have Zloke.com, a nice 5-letter domain. So I'm definitely going to be using that at some point. I ended up getting that domain for $20. Pretty incredible. Okay. So let's see what it got done. Now update the finish. Okay. All done. Here's what I changed. The 3 functions deleted, 2 new ones added, deleted that, deleted, added. Okay. So let's see if it works. Let's run a simple test. We're gonna have our owl do something here. Let's increase the font size of live activity and let's see if that works. Increase the font size of live activity on our board page. So we can see what it's actively doing on this particular agent here, but let's see if it creates a good summary at the end. So increase the font size of live activity on our board page. So we should, in theory, get a good result here. Let's see. So it's running, it's deploying the Claude CLI. So yep, it's running the Claude CLI, it's fixing it. I mean, we'll see this literally update in live time. It'll go, should get bigger in about a second here. It's polling it, so it's checking the Claude code. Yep, there it is, it's bigger. And let's see if that summary fucking works. I do not want to see some dumb bullshit summary. Okay. So text XS to text XM on the live activity heading and board sidebar. Okay. That's a good summary. That's definitely a good summary. So it changed text XS to text XM on the live activity heading and the board activity sidebar. So now, of course, if we're working on like 20 different companies all at the exact same time, knowing exactly where this is probably important. But unfortunately, I don't think we can add or iterate on this too much until we actually have lots of experiments and we start tagging all of these things here in the sidebar. So I think for all intents and purposes, seeing a log of what the agent actually did to complete a particular task and what the result of that task is actually a pretty good result. This is a pretty good result for what we have right now, and we can change this a little bit more with information as we do the next few things that Eagle suggests. But I guess for the sake of trying stuff, let's try it one more time, but do something with Eagle. So we'll just say we fixed the summarization loop, or we've gotten a better summarization loop. So now we have to get agents self-activating with a heartbeat, sync the Kanban board, populate SQLite from the existing Markdown, or have agents write SQLite directly via the Atlas CLI, give agents the Atlas CLI, build the objective to task workflow, then worry about autonomous agent experiment discovery. Okay, I mean, that's what I'm interested in having run right now, but I guess getting all this other stuff working would be good. Get agents self-activating, heartbeat cron that triggers each agent to check for pending work. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, I just worked on step 1, looks good now. I want you to do step 2 and get agents self-activating with proper heartbeats that will trigger the agent to check for pending work. If that means also giving agents access to the Atlas CLI, then do that. And then for those of you that don't know, the Atlas CLI is something that we built natively. So my guy Eagle here decided to call this whole operation Project Atlas. And so Atlas is the CLI that the agents have access to update the Kanban board. So, of course, they're not going to tap around in a UI. We built a Kanban board for them that connects to a CLI tool that allows them to update it and manage it and so on. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we're running a good model here. So yeah, we're running Opus 4.6, and let's just see what that looks like. So of course we can watch the chat here on the side and see how it's going to do that. But for the sake of testing the last stuff, we're going to watch it on the actual activity monitor and see what our guy Eagle is up to. So yeah, we'll kind of start here with our boy Eagle and see how he's going to approach this. So cron list, so we can see it's reading all the files for these different agents. Builder, operator, marketer, builder. Yep, so it's doing it. It's doing it. We'll give that guy a second to give it a good run and see exactly what we can pull up from that. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna go really quickly here. We got some comments coming in. All right. Yo, what's up, good vibes? You're watching and listening right now. You're driving. Day one is recorded. Day one is recorded, so you can just go back further down the X page and on my YouTube page, and you'll see more. Or if you want the actual logs or the links and stuff, feel free to come into my Discord channel. It's pinned in my bio. In fact, I should put a message in my Discord. Going live now. We'll drop the YouTube link. All right. Fantastic. Okay, let's see what the status of our agent is here. Okay. It's currently updating all of the proper files, the tools.md, tools.md, tools.md. Okay, did a bunch of reading. But are we updating the heartbeats though? Because we haven't done any editing on the heartbeat files yet. So we'll have to see if it does that in a second. Running Atlas node equals. Okay. Wow, okay. It looks like it did something. It's writing test SEO content for solopreneurs, landing page live. Okay, looks like it's cooking right now. Looks like it's cooking. What the fuck, bro? It's literally just writing tasks. What the fuck? It's literally writing tasks right now. What is this motherfucker doing, bro? Running node CLI. Okay, so it's running some prompts. I don't know what the fuck this is though. I guess these are just like task creation events, but it's all out of order. So our live activity is definitely some type of fucking funky right now. Okay. What I just set up. Okay. So yeah, our summary is still dog shit. What? So that's a dog shit summary. And so we're going to say, I just got this as a summary to this. I'll go back to Eagle here. Let's copy and paste all of this. So what I just set up, so you can see it literally pulled the text from the top. It literally pulled the markdown text from the agent response and made that the summary. Completely remove that shit like I initially told you. That should never happen again. Okay, so while that's working and we continue to fix the actual summaries, let's see what it did. So we can see Okay, work on step 1, looks awesome. I want you to go to step 2 and get the self-activating and get the agents self-activating with the proper heartbeats that will trigger agents to check for pending work. If that means also giving agents access to CLI, then do that too. Okay, let me check what agents workspace looks like and what instructions they currently have. The Atlas CLI is fully functional and has everything agents need. Now let me set this up. Here's my plan. Add a heartbeat config for Owl, Phoenix, and Dove every 30 minutes. Target none. They work silently, only ping when something needs attention. Update each agent's tool MD with the Atlas CLI docs. Forgive me if sometimes I read something and it doesn't come out right. I'm dyslexic. Update each agent's heartbeat MD to check the Kanban for pending work. Populate the Kanban DB with the existing EXP001 tasks so agents have real work to find. Let me execute. Now update the heartbeat files. Let me populate the Kanban with the existing EXP001 objective and the tasks. Now create the task for each agent. Tasks are in review by default. Let me approve them and put all assigned agents to pick them up. Now let me verify the board looks right. Okay, done. And let me also update my memory MD with what just happened. Here's what I set up. Heartbeats for all 4 agents every 30 minutes, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern time. Target none. They work silently, no spam to you. They only message me or you when something actually needs attention. So we don't want that. I want the heartbeats running 24/7, not 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. The fuck? Like there's like a few hour cooldown. Atlas CLI, Owl, Phoenix, Dove. Each agent's tool MD now has full docs to the Atlas CLI, how to check their work, create tasks, move tasks, list objectives, paths. Update the heartbeat MD, all 3 worker agents. Step 1, on every heartbeat, my work agent name, check the Kanban for assigned tasks. Check for the objectives with no tasks yet, create their own tasks. Step 3, check for agent messages / coordination. When done, notify me. I approve or push back. Kanban populated with real work. 9 tasks across 3 agents, all status assigned, approved, ready for pickup. Owl, 4 tasks, domain hosting, landing page analytics. Phoenix, 3 tasks. Dove, 2 tasks. What happens next? On the next heartbeat, in 30 minutes, each agent wakes up, runs my work, sees their assigned tasks, and starts working. Dove writes copy. Okay, so these are just samples. So let's do this. Let's do this. Because these are all assigned for experiment 1. So let's do this. As for the real work, I want you to change the Kanban board items completely. Remove them all and just create one for Eagle. Actually, and create 3. We'll create 2. One for Eagle to research how to make successful info products, and the other one for Dove to research how to successfully market info products. Where will the work for these be stored? So when both of these tasks are performed, they're obviously going to be written in a file somewhere. based on how we have this set up. Where would it be stored, and how can I make it where I can open it directly within a completed task within the Kanban board. Okay. Now let's go back and check up on our summary guy. You're right. Passing the agent's full response text to the summarizer is the root cause. It just regurgitates it. I'll remove it entirely from the summarizer's input so it can only work from the task and the structured actions. Now update this call site and finish run. Now remove the agent response. Clean. The agent's response text is now completely removed from the summary pipeline. The AI summarizer only gets two things: the task, structured action log. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. The agent response is good information for the summarizer. Just make sure the summarizer actually summarizes uniquely and doesn't regurgitate the same shit. All done. Here's what's live now. 24/7, every 30 minutes. What the fuck? Oh fuck, my mouse died again. Damn it. That is the problem with doing this shit, man. Okay. Unplug again. Come on, motherfucker. Shit. One second, guys. I gotta wait for this mouse to turn back on. I gotta have this guy start charging all day long. Unfortunately, Apple makes it really nice for you to be able to use the mouse while it's being charged. Alright, we're gonna unplug really quick and just scroll down. Okay, plug it back in while we read this. All done. Here's a summary. What's live now? Heartbeats 24/7, every 3 minutes, all 4 agents, no active hours restriction. Kanban board, task 1, research how to make successful info products. Dove, research how to successfully market info products. Research output location, OpenClaw, Workspace, Atlas, research. Task 1, info product success. Eagle writes this, Dove writes this. I put both files in my Workspace, Eagles, rather than Dove's, because it's the shared location. Both agents can read it. It's where the Atlas experiment data already lives. On viewing research in the dashboard, right now you can't open the files within the Kanban board. The dashboard shows task cards with the title, status, agent, but there's no click to view output feature. So to read the research today, you'd have to find the files directly or ask me to show you. To make it work in the dashboard, Owl would need to build a task detail panel that renders the associated markdown file when you click the task. The file path is already in each task description field, so the data link is there. It just needs the UI. That's a real feature request that we can queue up for Owl once the research is done. Actually, why don't we just queue that up? On my next Heartbeat, I'll pick up task 1 and start the research. Dove will pick up task 2 and start on hers. Wow, I didn't know Dove was a her. Want me to kick the agent off right now instead of waiting? Yes, and actually add a task for Owl to do what we just said it should do. And let's see how the whole system works. Kick it all off in 1 minute. Great. So now we should be able to see how our task management system works. Okay, so research how to successfully market info products. Research how to make successful info products. Great. So we should be able to see owls here. Yeah, build task detail panel in the Kanban dashboard. In progress, research how to make successful info products. Okay, so we have one in progress now. Currently working, Eagle task 1. Okay, we can see it in the sidebar up there. Eagle is currently researching how to make successful info products. And it's also, I guess, currently updating the other stuff because we can see Eagle is still doing something else. Once Owl is done, you'll be able to click tasks, okay? It's live. All 3 agents just got kicked. The wake fires all 3 heartbeats immediately. Well, they're not really working on it. We got Eagle doing something here, but I don't see anything being done for Owl and for Dove. Okay, let's see. Oh shit, I did not mean to do that. Okay. For some reason, I don't see Owl or Dove beginning any of their work. I just see Eagle doing research right now. Eagle move task to done. Research how to make successful info products. All right, well, let's see, right? Let's see what that looks like. So we'll go into Atlas. And we'll go into experiments, active, experiment 1. I don't even know where we put it. Okay, it moved it there, but where is it at? I think it said earlier. So Hoot Workspace Atlas Research. Okay, Hoot Workspace Atlas Research. So info product. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Task 1, research, Eagle strategist, complete, status complete, executive summary, info products, the info product landscape in 2026, the market size and momentum. Global e-learning market projected to reach 1 trillion. Okay, so, I mean, for a general prompt without much direction, I mean, it's good. It made it right, and it stored it in the right place. But I guess we didn't kick off the other agents for some reason. Okay, both returned timeout. That means the messages were delivered, but the agents were taking time to process. They're both alive now. And shows their update timestamps within the last minute. Okay, well, looks like Dove is doing something now. Owl hasn't kicked it off yet. Owl isn't doing shit still. They're alive now. Both builder main, marketer main, updated timestamps in the last minute. The issue is the wake event only triggered the Eagle's heartbeat. Okay, your wake event just worked for Dove now. Owl still isn't doing anything. Your system is only working for one agent at a time. Fix it. Okay, well, it looks like Dove just finished. Yep, so Dove just got something done. There it is, task number 2. I'm sure it will look fine. Info products have 70 to 95% margins. The market is projected to hit 416 billion by 2030. What info products mean in 2026? Distribution problem. Most info product failures are distribution failures, not product failures. The brutal stat, only 4% of creators make over 100K a year. The other 96% have knowledge worth selling. They just can't get it in front of the right people consistently. Don't we know? What kills info products before they launch? Building in secret and then announcing to silence. This guy's just roasting, bro. Like, it's just roasting. You're building in secret and then launching into silence. No email list, no community, no warm audience, treating social posts as the distribution strategy, building the product first and trying to find an audience. The marketing funnel, what actually works. Audience building before anything goes on sale. I mean, cool. You know, it did it, right? It did it. Build the detail panel in the Kanban. Okay, so it looks like Owl is in progress now, but we manually had to set off each agent. Owl session has received my message but never processed it. The last assistant response is still the old task from 20 minutes ago. My session time may have been queued behind Dove's active run. Let me try the direct kick now that Dove. Okay. We need to think about how we're doing that. Okay, let's do this. Create 3 new research tasks, whatever you want them to be, for each of our agents. And let's see if they actually trigger with a heartbeat. On the board page, want to have a nice little heart animation at the top of the page and a timer to show when the next heartbeat will go off. Figure out how to do it, then delegate to Owl to build that too. Use the task system as well. Okay. It's hard to know if this is in progress, so we need some indicator to show that it's doing something. Increase the font size of live activity. So it says in progress, right? But the thing is, with this version of recent activity, I can actually see that it's doing something, whereas the currently working, I can't click on shit. So we'll do this. Also, actually, we'll create a new agent for this. For live activity on the board page, we have a section called currently working. We have a section called currently working, and it's not clickable at all. I want to be able to click on one of those tiles, just like our other tiles, and see a summary and see tool calls currently being made, then a summary at the end of what it did for that specific task. Okay. Build task detail panel in the Kanban dashboard. Okay, so there's a nice side panel that kind of comes out. Add a task detail panel to the Kanban board in Users Project Agent Dashboard. When a user clicks a task card, it should open a side panel or modal that renders the associated markdown file. The file path stored in each task description field. Use a markdown renderer. The panel should now show task title, status, assigned agent, and the rendered markdown content. If no file exists, show a picture placeholder. Okay? So, I mean, I should then, in theory, be able to click on this then, right? Maybe not yet. And it's just showing what it did. Okay, let's see what Eagle is doing here. Okay, there it is. All three tasks are moving. The system works. It queues agents sequentially rather than running them in parallel. That's a gateway level behavior, not a config issue. Dove killed it. Okay. This is a problem. We can't just have the situation where we add this shit to the Kanban board. That needs to be a trigger within itself. We need adding tasks or objectives to the assigned Kanban board from Thomas/Eagle to be an immediate trigger event for agents to start working on those tasks. We can't simply just wait for the next heartbeat. That needs to be a trigger for the agent to activate within itself if it's not currently working on a task. Okay, that should do something. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay. For the live activity on the board page, we have a section called currently working that's not clickable at all. I want to be able to click on one of those tiles just like the other ones. Great, we're going to keep that. You're right, heartbeats are safety net, not the trigger. While a task lands on an agent's plate, they should start immediately. We don't want to auto-notify anything yet. We want it to just run. So yeah, it just auto-notified both of these. Add auto-notify to Atlas CLI on task assignment, and I guess it's set to a high priority. Add heartbeat animation and countdown timer to the Kanban board. Okay, well that's great. Owl has 2 tasks in progress. It's probably deploying sub-agents, honestly, to go ahead and handle that shit. Yeah, our guy is communicating here, both in progress. Okay, Owl critical. Modify the Atlas CI so assigning a task automatically sends a session send to the agent via the Gateway API. Once this ships, Every task move ID status assigned instantly wakes up the agent. No more waiting for heartbeats. In the meantime, I'll manually session send every time I assign a task. Once Owl ships task 08, that becomes automatic and I'm out of the loop. Dev's already working on task 5. It's giving me like a foreshadowing to the future, right? Like this is like it's getting there. It's fucking getting there, right? Like we can start to see how this is going to work, and I think that's fucking cool. All right, now let's see if I can actually click on it and it'll see. Perfect. I can now click on the currently working section. This recent activity shit is slop. I'm gonna have to remove it. I don't like how this looks. Visually, it just looks disgusting. So we're gonna have to shape this up once we get it working. Okay, cool. Look, we have the heartbeat timer. We can see when the next pulse is gonna be. It's in 29 minutes. And I know that's actually accurate because Eagle just got assigned. Now, for some reason, we don't know why, but these two tasks are still not being pushed to Phoenix and Dove. And so, I mean, the auto notify to Atlas CLI on task assignment, I mean, that's done now, right? So that's done. Let me kick Owl directly. Task 4 done, competitive analysis written, the big find, the lane is wide open to build a real business with AI agents. Okay. Yeah, so that's the heartbeat. So yeah, we know that definitely just got triggered because of the heartbeat. Phoenix moved task 7 to in progress. Interesting. Now, was that from the heartbeat? Phoenix, you have a task assigned. Check your Kanban on it. like, yo, this is sick. Researcher is running. I'll check back when it completes and then mark task 7 done plus notify the strategist. Yo, that's lit. That is lit. So now why isn't Dove running? Dove's task is still assigned. She never picked it up. She was working on task number 2 when I created it. Perfect test case. Let me reassign to trigger. The notify fires on task create. Well, it knows Dove is still not doing shit. Hey, Thomas, here's the live status. The system is working. Looking at what's happening right now with any manual intervention. Phoenix is actively running. Okay, auto notify fired on that assigned transition. Let me wait 30 seconds to check if Dove section is active. Let's see. Dove section is not in fact active. Dove isn't showing up. The auto notify may have fired the HTTP request, but Dove session didn't activate. Likely because the gateway queues are occupied by Phoenix's sub-agents and my session. The sequential processing issue strikes again. Here's my honest assessment for you, Thomas. All 4 agents can check the Kanban, pick up tasks, execute autonomously. Heartbeats run 24/7 every 30 minutes as a safety net. The gateway process agents turns out sequentially, not in parallel. Okay. Look up online on OpenClaw how our system can properly deploy many agents at once and those agents can then deploy subagents and update the whole CLI trigger system to reflect that. Fire. Absolutely fire. Okay. Fantastic. Let's see where we can get this to go here. Okay. Anybody in the chat? How are you guys doing? Anything you guys want me to cover or talk about in specific? Let me know. Let me know. I loved hearing from you guys the last time. A bunch of you guys were out in the chat. Looks like we got 2 of you guys watching on Kick right now. We got 1 person on YouTube. And we got about 140 something people on X. No. What the fuck? You know, it may be crashed. No, it's not crashed. It's still running. What? Something is going on here. That's for sure. Okay, it's running now. OpenClaw multi-agent parallel concurrency sub-agent spawning. Great. Fantastic. Pull that motherfucker up. Here's what I found. We were wrong about the bottleneck, the real situation. We already have max concurrent 4, meaning 4 agent sessions can run in parallel. The sequential behavior we saw was likely just timing coincidence or the gateway processing messages from the same session serially. What we are actually missing is max spawn depth defaults to 1. Subagents can't spawn their own subagents. Well, no shit, they can't spawn their own subagents. We need a depth of 2 for the orchestrator pattern. Agent spawns researchers, they work in parallel. The schema for this version doesn't include max spawn depth. Okay, we're just going to have to wait for this thing to pump out. Config patched. Good, the heartbeats already mentioned spawning subagents. Now let me update the tools. Tools already exist. Let me add the subagent section. Yeah, I got no clue how this is what this is about to say. Okay. Let me update my memory MD with what we learned. Thomas, here's the full summary of what I found. What was wrong with our mental model? We thought the gateway was sequential. It's not. It was already set. 4 agents can run. Each session is serial internally, 1 message at a time per session. But different agent sessions can run truly concurrently. The sequential behavior we saw was just timing overlap. What actually changed? Config updates, live after a restart. Agents default subagents model, Sonnet. Subagents no longer Okay. Subagents no longer inherit parents model. Each Eagle subagents now run on Sonnet instead of burning Opus tokens. Subagents allow agents on all agents. Owl, Phoenix, and Dove can now spawn subagents. Previously, only Eagle could. Max concurrent, 8. Up to 8 subagents can run simultaneously in their own dedicated lane, separate from the main agent's concurrent lane. Agent tools.md updates. All 3 agents now have documentation on how to use session spawn for parallel research workers. What we can't do yet, version limitation. Max spawn depth is 2. Nested subagents, subagents spawning their own subagents, is documented in OpenClaw docs, but not available on this version. It's fine. The auto-notify trigger system. The Atlas CLI trigger system, task 8, Owl built, is already correct. It fires HTTP posts. Great. Okay. I want to check why Dove still hasn't spawned. Okay. So as long as we can run 4 agents at once and they can run subagents all at once, then we're good. My concern right now is that we have tasks assigned on the Kanban board, yet those agents aren't properly working on them. We need to ensure that they always are. I don't want you as Eagle to manually tell Dove to do it right now. Our workflow should just trigger it. I want you to delete the current Dove task and add a fresh one alongside 2 test tasks for the other 2 agents to see if they'll all execute at once. All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Let's see if we can get these guys to all go at the same time. Eagle moved task 7 to done. Eagle moved task 5 to done. So clearly Eagle is doing stuff. All right. Write a 3-sentence summary of what Owl does on this team. Perfect. Now move it all to assigned. Yep, there he goes. He's moving it all into the assigned row. And that should trigger immediately for in progress. That heartbeat indicator is bullshit. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Not running. In fact, we haven't even gotten a message back from Eagle. He clearly is doing shit, but haven't gotten a response. Okay. Okay, you properly moved the tasks, assign them, but nothing happened. Are we currently running this? Oh, do we shut the gateway down? I mean, we're getting 200s, but I don't see where the gateway is running. It looks not running. Let's just send that and see. I mean, it's clearly running. Okay. The notify function fails silently on everything. It could be failing and we'd never know. Let me test it. There is a 405 method not allowed. The API endpoint doesn't exist. The gateway doesn't expose a REST API for the session sends. It serves the UI on all routes. And the notify agent function in the Atlas CLI has been hitting a UI HTML. Okay. That woke me, Eagle, not Dove. Let me try the proper approach. A session send which I have access to is Eagle. See if we can get this to work. Oh wait, I mean, looks like Dove is doing stuff now. Write a 3-sentence summary on what you did. Yeah, definitely not working still. Wait, I'll move it to in progress. It's still happening fucking sequentially. Now watch, it's gonna work now for Phoenix. Yep, it's thinking. Yep, it's in progress. It's happening sequentially. Okay, these tasks are still happening sequentially, not concurrently. It's like a bunch of tasks get added to the Kanban board. Then an agent starts to work on one at a time. This cannot happen. And a task is assigned. Agents shouldn't have any blockers to pick up and get started. Figure out why this is happening. Okay, all three got fired in timeout status, which means the messages were delivered with agents that respond within the timeout window. Here's a real diagnosis though, Thomas. The Atlas CLI notification system is broken from day one. I'll build it to post to local API session send, but that API endpoint doesn't exist on the gateway. It just hits the UI HTML, gets a 200 because the SPA serves on all routes, and silently fails. No, don't lie, motherfucker. And then silently fails. Where's it at? Yeah. God damn it. Every auto-notify task since 008. Oh my god. I gotta fix this scrolling feature. It's really fucking annoying. Every auto-notify task has been a no-op. The Atlas CLI can't use session send because it's standalone node, not an agent. Two options are heartbeats only, agent checks their Kanban every 30 minutes if reliable but slow, have me Eagle send the pings via session send whenever I assign tasks. Instant requires me in the loop. I know you said you don't want me to manually trigger events, but option 2 is actually the correct architecture. On the strategist, I assign tasks, and session send is how agents talk to each other. The Atlas CLI doing HTTP calls was a workaround that never worked. All three tasks done. Dove, Owl, Phoenix all executed in parallel. The gateway doesn't have a public REST API for session messaging. 2 changes to make this bulletproof. All 3 agents confirmed. Dove, Owl, Phoenix. Okay. Did not. Okay, the tasks are still happening sequentially, not concurrently. If the solution requires you to session send to all of these other agents, then so be it. Make that the workflow rather than it being triggered to each agent via the Atlas CLI. Okay. See how that one goes. All right. There it is. The QDocs confirm what's happening. Okay. Let's see. There it is. The QDocs confirm exactly what's happening. A lane-aware FIFO. All right, we're just going to let this thing continue to run. Eagle create more tasks. Task assigned. Now firing all 3 pings simultaneously. Using timeout seconds 1 so I don't block waiting. All right, let's see if they all run. We got Dove going. Now what? Phoenix is going to move one over. Still just happening sequentially. Still happening sequentially, one after the other. Copy and paste it to show the exact logs. So Eagle moved the task. So you can see how they move the task all at the exact same time. The messaging session all happened at the same time. You can see Eagle. There's proof. Let's look at the modification timestamps. Exactly 10 seconds apart. Yeah, the 10-second stagger says something is serializing. Thomas, here's what I know for certain. The agents are activating and completing tasks. The trigger via session send works, but they are 10 seconds apart, not truly in parallel. The 10-second stagger is either Anthropic API concurrency limit on our tier. Most likely, free low tiers often cap it at 1 to 2 concurrency requests. Gateway queue behavior that staggers even within max concurrent 4. But here's the thing that matters for your actual concern. The workflow now works. 3 agents got pinged. All 3 executed within 30 seconds. They don't sit idle anymore. The 10-second stagger between agents is cosmetic. It's not the task setting assigned for hours, the problem you were seeing. The real fix is in place. Eagle ping agents via session send. Great. Yes, they're 10 seconds apart because the tasks themselves only took 10 seconds to do. If the task was much longer, it becomes a problem. Look it up online and fix it so it works. You can't have this. And try again. Why don't we drop that to Sonnet? We don't want to burn too many tokens on this. Definitely don't want to drop too many tokens on it. Let's see. See how it's going down. Okay. See what it says. See what it says. Tasks are assigned. Nooks are fired. No manual session sent from Eagle. Not waiting to see the file timestamps. Tasks are still unassigned. The hook's fired, but the agents had picked them up. Endpoint create isolated sessions. Okay. Phoenix is running. Davao, Phoenix. It's just still happening in this fucking serial fashion, man. The root cause is Anthropic's API rate limits, not the OpenClaw config. The gateway is launching all 3 sessions concurrently, but when we hit the Anthropic API at the same time, Anthropic serializes them on their end. Each request waits for the previous one to get a response before the next one starts. What the fuck, man? There's no way. There's no fucking way. There's no way this is the case. I want you to verify it somehow. I'm using the Claude Max plan, 200 month plan. And in Claude Code, I can run multiple terminals at once. Doesn't make sense that we'd only be allowed one agent to run at a time. Look it up online and figure it out. Fair point. Let me check Anthropic's actual rate limits for the max plan and verify what's happening. Critical detail. We have 2 Anthropic profiles, API key and token. Token means Claude Code's OAuth. Now the real issue, let's look at this. All agents are routing through Anthropic manual, the OAuth token. That's your Claude AI session. The API key is invalid. That's why all agents fall back to the OAuth token. The rate limits. The rate limits page doesn't mention concurrent limits. They measure the RPM, not simultaneous connections. The concurrent requests are allowed on a proper API key. The real problem is your API key is invalid, and all agents are using the OAuth token as fallback. I deleted my API key because I want to only use the OAuth token. Fix it in my OpenClaw config if that's causing problems. Now remove the dead API key. The agent files are clean. Anthropic default is gone. Anthropic manual is only in profile. No error counts. All 5 agent files are patched. The global OpenClaw JSON still lists Anthropic default. FC removing the dead key and cooldown fixes the 10-second stuff. All right. Dove moved task 18 to in progress. Dove moved it to done. Now let me guess. It's going to have another agent. Start's going to work. There we go. All starts at 10:24:25. Finish at 10:24:26. Now we're going to have Phoenix. It's still serializing. All of which were 10 seconds apart. Again. Boy. Yeah, if any of you guys are in the chat know how to serialize or how to make multiple agents run at the same time using Anthropic, please drop it in the chat, because there's no fucking way, I refuse to believe, that they wouldn't allow multiple instances to run at once. I just don't want to believe it. Still 10 seconds apart. Dead API key wasn't the cause. OAuth token has the same behavior. Thomas, I need to be straight with you. This is OAuth token's concurrency behavior, not a config issue. The token is a Claude AI session token. It goes through a different internal path on the API. I can see from the timestamps that each agent starts exactly when the previous one finishes. It's not a rate limit. We'd see 429 errors. It's the OAuth endpoint serializing concurrent requests by design. The Max plan gives you unlimited usage in the Claude AI interface. But the OAuth token isn't designed for parallel API calls from multiple agents. This is why Claude Code can run multiple terminals. Claude Code has special handling for this. OpenClaw's multi-agent setup needs a proper API key. The real option is get a proper Anthropic API key. Even $5 deposits get tier 1, which allows concurrent requests. Tier 3, $200 spend gets you 1,000 RPM on Sonnet. Route some agents to Minimax. Bro, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Look up that OAuth assumption online. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe that you cannot run multiple agents with Anthropic at once using the token. Yeah, the gateway is staggering them. My initial assumption about the OAuth token being the bottleneck was wrong. But my assessment that something is serializing it is correct. Well, no shit. Let me check if max concurrent is actually being applied correctly. The config patch may have it set, but the gateway behavior suggests otherwise. I need to be honest with you, Thomas. I was wrong about the OAuth token. And now I'm chasing my tail on this. Let me just look at the actual logs. This is what I'm saying, bro. Sometimes you have to fucking know that it's lying to you. Oh no. Oh no. 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 Fuck. Bro, the worst possible fucking scenario is that I have to update OpenClaw. I have to fucking update it. That's suicide. No. 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 Updating OpenClaw is trash. 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 Updating OpenClaw is fucking trash. If you have tried updating OpenClaw at any point in your life, you know that it is trash. It ruins shit. This is a known open issue file 2 weeks ago on the exact version we're running. Even with agents default concurrent 100, the main lane still uses the default value of 4. Agents default max concurrent does not control the main lane concurrency. The docs say it should, but it doesn't. It's a bug in the version I'm running. The issue is still open, no fix yet. The workaround suggested in the thread, run multiple OpenClaw gateway instances, 1 per agent, which is obviously impractical. There's no clean fix right now in this version. So Thomas, I owe you a straight answer. The sequential execution is a known bug. Doesn't actually work as documented. Multiple agents hitting the same gateway will serialize through the main lane regardless of the config. I was chasing the wrong cause. And the real answer was a platform bug filed 2 weeks ago with no resolution. Wait for OpenClaw to fix it, likely in the next release. Check if there's a new version. Might have a patch, except the 10-second stagger for now. Want me to check if there's a newer OpenClaw version with the fix? Yes. I gotta cover my eyes. I gotta cover my eyes. Newer version exists. The latest is 2.24. No explicit mention of the mainline concurrency fix. OpenClaw has installed via npm, not Git, so the built-in updater can't use it. We need to use npm. Oh my god, it's running npm install without saying whether or not it's going to actually fucking fix it. If this shit breaks everything, I'm logging off. Two different node versions. npm installed it into Homebrew's node, but OpenClaw is running under NVM. Please, for the love of fucking God, do not break. Just don't. Just don't. For the love of God. I will do anything for this just to not break. Oh. Well, it's going to run the concurrency test. Eagle created 3 tasks at 11:33. Fire out simultaneously. Dove moved the task. Bro. Literally retarded. Is this like a serious problem right now with OpenClaw? Like, what the fuck? I need to open up X. There's no fucking way. All right. Let's see. OpenClaw concurrency. Let's see if anyone's talking about it on Twitter. OpenClaw architecture, part 2, concurrency, isolation. Everyone wonder why most AI agents break under the real world loads. Yeah. The mainline concurrency bug is still present. The GitHub issue is still open. This is an unresolved platform bug. Max Concurrent 4 doesn't actually parallelize agent sessions in this version. The 10-second stagger is the ceiling right now. For real tasks that run 15 to 30 minutes, a 10-second delay is genuinely negligible. Agents 2 and 3 start 3 and 20 seconds later, but then run fully in parallel for their entire execution. The only actual problem is that if task completes in under 20 seconds. Okay, let's test it out. I want you to assign 3 research tasks that would take several minutes for each agent to run. If I see all of them hanging out inside of the in progress column, then we're good. Try again. Let's see. If they all get triggered 10 seconds apart, but they all run in parallel truly, then that's fine. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Research top 10 AI newsletter monetization strategies with revenue data. Research best tech stacks. Research unit economics for AI info products. I don't think these are going to move over here. I really don't. Don't think it's going to happen. Chat. Is this happening right now? Are we for real? Is Phoenix going to get deployed? Phoenix got deployed. You know, I stand corrected. This is not bad at all. Not bad at all. But Eagle's about to dump on me, bro. Eagle dunked on me. Davao and Phoenix are all running their research tasks in parallel right now. The 10-second stagger on startup doesn't matter. What matters is they're all actively working at the same time. Eagle wasn't playing, bro. Eagle was not playing, bro. Well, I'm glad that that's working this time. I'm glad that it's working. Well, this is good. This is good. I'm glad that it's properly doing the research that it needs here. So it looks like we've made some good progress today. It looks like we've made some pretty solid progress. We now have a proper delegation system. We have a multi-agent execution system, and we have a heartbeat trigger that will then cause all of our agents to check to see whether or not they have anything that may have been missed that's not in the queue right now. And it's currently creating files, putting them somewhere. I'm probably gonna have to change and consolidate where it's being put, but this is good. This is good. It definitely indicates that we're headed in the right direction with this. Probably going to spend a few hours just kind of cleaning it up and consolidating everything. And then what I'll do is for tomorrow's stream, I'll get on and I'll show a visualization of how all of this is going to work. And I'm going to clean up a lot of the vibe coded slop now that it actually is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And hopefully by the end of tomorrow's stream, we should be in a place where it's properly able to actually start running and executing experiments autonomously. So we can start actually making these streams a little bit more interesting. So it's not just about, oh, setting up, but it's actually out there. We're training skills, we're doing jobs, we're making money. So that's going to be it. Tomorrow should be the final one of setting up the dashboard. And then in 2 days from now, we should be off to the races. But that's it for today's stream, guys. Thank you all for coming by. If you guys have watched this entire stream and you're interested in continuing to be part of the community, go to my bio on X, YouTube, Instagram, Kick, etc. I have a link to a Discord channel. This is where me and a bunch of other people are going to be communicating to further our adventure of building a autonomous organization that builds, launches, tests, iterates, and finds startups that could make a bunch of money. So if that's at all interesting to you, check the link in the bio, join the Discord, and I'll be excited to see you guys there. But appreciate you all for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.